Hi guys, this is Oracle Daphne doing your August 27th, 2014 horoscope. I'm just going to pull one card like I usually do. I'm wearing my sunglasses here because it might get a little bright in here. No, I'm just kidding. I just do it. I like wearing sunglasses. It's kind of like a makeshift headband. And I don't know. It's just what I'm doing. Anyways, I also am drinking my usual smoothie. So cheers to you. This one is yogurt, frozen blueberries, 2 bananas, 2 small bananas, and soy milk, and a kiwi. So, so today I am just gonna pull one card, and let's see what I get. I hope you guys are doing great today, by the way. I'm having a pretty good day myself. Ooh, you know, it's interesting. I've pulled this card several times, and I guess we're going to talk about it today. Let me see what I can pick up, though. This is the Four of Pentacles. And see what I am drawn to. I guess I'm feeling like it's an investment. It's like an anti-investment card. So I don't know what's going on with the stock market, and I don't like to really talk about the stock market, but this is not an investor's. On the one hand, it's letting go of money, but on the other hand, I don't see it as an investor's card. I'm being drawn to the cliff here, and I think of like the fiscal cliff. I'm not sure. That's kind of interesting to me. And then I'm also drawn to these like little lily pads at the top. And to me, lily pads mean, well, it's the lotus. To me, it's the lotus. It's the lotuses, have their roots in the mud. They climb out of the mud and they get to high places. The lotus is also past, present, and future. So I feel like this card, the message of this card for today, August 27th, is to think about your money in more long term. Instead of living paycheck to paycheck, which you may be doing, think about your money like on a longer term scale, like on a bigger scale, because it could be that, this is kind of talking to like the economic times. I don't know what country you guys, whoever is watching this, every country is different. Here in the United States, not that it's really different across the globe, but each country has its own economic situation and what they're going through. Here in the States, we're really focused on recovery. But I feel like in order for that recovery to happen, this card is saying today, don't be greedy with your money. And I've been thinking about this, and this kind of has to, I don't know if you've been watching on Twitter, this has to do with the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. And I'm all for, supporting that. So that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say that everybody seems to be really together on this one thing. Everybody's doing this Ice Bucket Challenge. And yet the economy and politics and everything seems so separated. There's especially in the United States, they've got the Republicans and the Democrats going to war continuously over the fiscal cliff. And I feel like the message here is to think about money in terms of the bigger picture, your long-term future. Be giving when you can. If we were as active in creating solutions to our finances across the globe as we have been as far as getting together, doing this ALS challenge, I mean, there would be no fiscal cliff. There would be no, living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, everybody would have enough to feed themselves, to clothe themselves, to pay their bills. It would just be a lot easier. I'm not sure why that's coming up for me, but I'm not sure why people can't seem to come, to eye to eye with each other, and make positive changes. I kind of wish that there was more, positive changes as far as the economy. And I know that we're recovering and whatever, but I just think that that's something that there's serious message in here. And I will say, because I got a message earlier today from someone who, I bet basically in the reading, they had said that they had kept seeing people, psychics and whatever, had kept telling them that they had a great financial future and it was coming in, their ships were rolling in, and it never seemed to happen. And so I want to kind of address some of the things that I mentioned in my response, because I think this is pertinent to this card. This card is really someone who thinks all about money and they don't think about anything else. I want to talk about some of the blocks, because this goes hand in hand with this card. This card is all about giving, considering what the rewards are when you give. So that can be a block, actually. And it sounds so strange because, like, the person that is going living paycheck to paycheck thinks that, I mean, there aren't two pennies to rub together. So how can they possibly give? What can they possibly do? And it's going out and looking for an opportunity, but it's also, even if it's small, even if it's going through your closet and finding something to give to a friend that maybe you're not going to wear anymore, even though it's a little bit older, maybe it's something that would fit them and that they would like, This is kind of a thinking outside of the box, but also there are other certain blocks to, like, blocking your prosperity, okay? I kept seeing this a lot when I worked for a psychic network, where people would call up and they would tell me, am I going to be able to, and this is it's similar but different, am I going to be able to leave my husband? Right. And I would say, yes, you need to leave. I see that, this relationship is abusive or whatever. Whatever I saw the cards. And I wouldn't say you need to leave. I would say it's probably best for you to leave. But they would come back and say, well, they'd call me again and they'd say, hey, it's me again. And I'd say, a week or two later, I'd say, did you leave? How are things going? She says, no, the situation's the same. But the cards all said that it was all in the cards for her to leave. And this is similar to people that may be seeing that they keep getting, or hearing about, watching one of my horoscopes that says big money's on the way, big money, and yet they don't see it. There's a lot of planetary influences that can happen. Saturn is a big, big influence. So I don't do any planetary stuff. There are other, people astrologers that do planetary stuff. I do the tarot stuff, but there's no reason why, you can't go, look at some of their stuff, watch some of their videos on what's going on with the planets in your chart at this time. And what's been going on, because, Saturn, if somebody's going through their Saturn return, then they're going to be in, 6 or 7 years of hardship, basically. It's going to be hard during their Saturn return because it's 2 years before, 2 years during, 2 years after, give or take. So it's going to be about 7 years where they're going through stuff. So say you started your Saturn return in the middle of the recession. Well, the shit was hitting the fan then. And, maybe, you were going from job to job. You sent out thousands of applications and resumes. You pounded the pavement every single day looking for a good job, but you couldn't find one, so you settled for something that was $10 an hour, and now you can barely afford to feed yourself. You can barely afford, and maybe you're not even being able to feed yourself. Maybe you're on food stamps or something, and you're just barely alive, and this has happened, and it's just been an uphill struggle for you. Well, that's something that's real, and those are because of planetary influences. The other thing is, and this goes along with what my advice was to the woman who had called me about her husband. My advice to you as far as this financial stuff and in general too, about when you see that, when you hear about, somebody gives you a good financial prognosis. And even if you're not even thinking that much about your finances, but a lot of people right now are, so I'm going to say basically most people are thinking about their finances right now, and if they don't think about their finances, well, good for you. I mean, you're in a good place, but this is for everybody who's kind of thinking about their finances, and they're worried. How am I going to feed this? How am I going to do that? How am I going to pay for gas? All that stuff. You need to take steps. You need to do actions, practical steps to attaining the financial prosperity that's basically in your cards, if it's in your cards. And those practical steps are updating your resume, applying for a better job, asking your boss for a raise, quitting those 2 or 3 part-time jobs that you have for a better full-time job, and maybe doing something sort of part-time on the side that brings in extra money, but, changing your lifestyle, your living situation. These are practical things that you can do to change things around for yourself. And we're talking about moving with roommates, selling a house if you live in a house, if you have an apartment, breaking a lease, or going and living with your parents, which might not be good for a lot of you, but some of you that might work. Just try to save up some money, but also aside from like the living stuff, going through your finances and becoming a better financially savvy about where your money is going, what you're spending your money on, how much you're spending on gas or food, or clothing a month. It's interesting. I helped a friend of mine. She's quite a lot younger than I am, and she was having some financial difficulty, but she was going out every Saturday, and she went drinking with her friends every Saturday and spent close to $100. And then every Sunday she'd go to the mall, and she spent also $100. So it's like $200 every week. $200 every week times 4 weeks, that's $800. So $800 a month was going to 2 things which aren't going into a savings account, and 2 things which aren't helping her, basically staying in her checking account. They're just going into the wind. And I mean, unless you're going to save your receipts and return all that stuff later, you're spending a lot of money. And a lot of people, think that they have to clothe their children in like the nicest gear and all that stuff. And that's getting into the whole children thing, which I'm not going to do, because, parents have their own way of thinking and what they want to do for their children. And I totally respect that. But this is about really going through your budget, making a budget for yourself. The way to do it is what you're getting for your income. So your 2 paychecks a month or your 1 paycheck a month, add it up, gives you such and such amount, okay? And then you add up. At the end of each month, you should have been saving all of your receipts. So I want you to save all of your receipts every month. Even if it's like stupid, if it's like Starbucks, tell them you want a receipt. Everything you can save a receipt for, save it. Put it in your purse. Put it in your wallet. Stick it down your shirt. Whatever you're going to do. I'm kind of crazy. But anyways, to save the receipt. Okay? So you're going to save your receipts, and at the end of every month, you're going to go through these receipts, and you're going to add up how much you spent. And you're going to write down some categories. Food, gas, clothes, miscellaneous, pharmacy, credit card number 1, credit card number 2, credit card number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, how many you have. You go car insurance, health insurance, And then you're going to total that up. And that's going to be subtracted from the top line, which is going to be your incoming. So your my incoming minus your outgoing bills and expenses is going to give you your budget. Now, if you guys are in the negative, then you know you've got, this is why this is coming up. Because you're worried about money. You're losing money left and right. Money is, maybe you're losing money in the stock market because that kind of is coming up for me. And you're concerned about that. You're concerned about where the economy is going. You're concerned about this fiscal cliff, and maybe you're like the lily pad, you're like the lily that started from nothing and has acquired all this wealth. And it's, you've worked your whole life to acquire all this, or a long time. I'm kind of getting that. You've worked for a really long time to acquire all this. Maybe you acquired a lot and you're concerned about losing it. But that concern and those worries, they're valid. However, they're blocking you from achieving more. Okay. So as far as, so we've talked about your incoming, outgoing, your budget. You understand, okay, that's important. Having a good relationship to money is really important. And everybody handles their money differently. Some people use cash only. Some people use credit cards only. Some people use debit only. Some people don't believe in debit. But one way or the other, you need to be watching what you're spending. I used to work at a bank. I used to work at a couple banks actually. And so I can tell you that the number one thing I used to recommend to people all the time was, go online and check your checking account every day, or almost every other day, pretty much regularly. You check your email in the morning, check your bank account. No, it's good for several reasons. You check it to make sure that it's still very secure and nobody's using your debit card, and you also check it. Nobody's taking your debit card information. You always check it to see what's coming and going out of your account. And everybody balances their account differently. It used to be people balance on paper, but now this is an electronic society. So you want to be watching what's coming and going, okay? But I also want you on your incoming and outgoing sheet of paper or a little booklet, a journal, whatever. You want to be writing down your projected incoming and outgoing. And I want this to be written down because I'm a big fan of doing things on paper. That way you can look back and you can see what's going, in the future. And it doesn't get lost in your cell phone someplace. And if your cell phone gets stolen, you won't lose it. You'll have a hard copy. So, get a journal. It's a journal, some sort, blank pages, line pages. It doesn't matter. Something that's sturdy that's going to hold up over time. And I want you to write at the top of each page, monthly projected outgoing or monthly projected budget. Okay? And write it all down. And so you got two places that you're keeping track of your money. You're keeping track of it when you log in every day to check your account, and you're checking your money when you're writing it down. You pretty much will have an idea of what's going to come in and what's going to go out. The other thing is I learned this from Susie Orman, which I totally credit to her. Go through every single room in your house. Go through every single room and look at everything in that room, okay? Like right now, I have this brush, this powder brush. I think I got this for $10 at Kohl's. So this is a good example of something that, do I really need this brush? Do I have other brushes? This is what you should be thinking, okay? This brush, I'm going to put in the middle of, my room. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to look at everything else. Anything else that you've spent money on that you don't necessarily need, that you can return. I suggest shopping at places that have an unlimited return so that you can take things back if you need to, or get store credit. If you don't have your receipt for something like this, bring it in, tell them you don't have your receipt, you'll get store credit, and you might be able to buy something else. Especially good at grocery stores where, if you buy a lot of makeup, a lot of ladies buy a lot of nail polish, all that stuff, those $2 or $3, those things add up. Grab all that stuff and put it all together with the other stuff and organize it. and then actually tally it up and find out how much you spent on all that stuff that you really don't need, that could be back in your checking account, or that will be back in your checking account once you return everything. I used to keep like this big tub, it was like a plastic tub in my bathroom, and I'd throw things in there so I could kind of keep track of all of my excess stuff. But it was really good for the times where I was just like, I for some reason I was short, or something came up, some medical stuff came up, and I had to spend some money, and I was really short. I couldn't buy gas, couldn't do gas, couldn't do groceries. I'd go look in that tub and see what I could return. And you know what? Usually it was like $300 or $400 worth of stuff that I had acquired that I didn't even know about, eBay's good, Amazon's good. Selling your stuff, sell your stuff. And that way you won't get to this point. You won't be like, how am I going to get money? What am I going to do? It's just, you don't want to be in this place. Because then when you're in this place and you're going, how am I going to get money? How am I going to get money? What is going to happen to me? How am I going to feed myself and pay gas and all that stuff? When you're not in that place, you can be more giving. You can think about others. When you're not in total survival mode, you can think about actually helping others and thinking of others and being more giving. But you can be giving all the time. It's just when you're in this mode, it really blocks you. It blocks you from giving, which then blocks you from receiving. So it's not a really great place to be. It's a vicious cycle. And there's a lot of spirals in this. And I'm getting drawn to these spirals, being needy or greedy is a downward spiral, and it affects others. So if you're not giving something to others, they're not receiving, and then they're not giving, and then it's collective. I wish people around the world would collectively somehow give and receive at the same time. So it would be like a plan, okay? It would be like, okay, I'm going to give this brush to so-and-so, and that so-and-so is going to give me this hair tie, or something like that. And that way it would kind of change the energy, I think. And it would kind of unblock the whole selfishness consciousness of, I'm not going to make it, I'm just surviving and kind of hanging on to every dollar. And I can't give to anyone, I have nothing, And then it also creates a lot of jealousy, too. There's a lot of jealousy that goes along with this card. Green with envy. You've heard that. It's kind of coming to me. Green with envy. You see somebody else who has that sports car, who's wearing that gold chain, who's got that nice watch, who's wearing a nice suit, nice shoes. Great job. That's what you're coveting. Whoever's watching this video, I feel like this is speaking to you. I don't know. I'm kind of getting giggly because I feel like this is speaking to someone, who has a vision of what they want, but they're so worried that they're going to lose, that they don't have it. And the tricky thing about abundance is when you think you don't have it, you won't. But if you think you have it, if you think, I have everything I need. I have all the money that I need. I had everything that I could have been given. I am extremely blessed. When you have that mentality, the universe gives you more. And they just keep sending you more and sending you more and sending you more. So those are some of the blocks. Okay, so we didn't go into karma, though. And this has something to do with like our karmic past and reincarnation. And I'm speaking to people who understand reincarnation and what karma really is. But basically, I'll just say that some people have more karma to pay than others. Some people cannot literally acquire the abundance or prosperity that they need just because, or want, just because in a past life, they either took it from somebody else, or they were incredibly selfish and greedy themselves and they didn't give, or things like that. I mean, it's more just, this is a lesson to be learned, and karma is there to teach you the lesson. So the lesson for a lot of people, as far as not having all the things that they want, is that maybe you're supposed to do without those things and learn to be happy and to be successful and to do it, to live life without those things. Because that is a positive lesson, actually, for us to kind of get through life and not be so dependent and not be so coveting of that sports car person who seems to have it all. You don't know about what's going on with that sports car person. That sports car person may have lost both of his parents and has no family and has very few friends, and they have paid dearly for their isolation and for their abundance. Not everybody. I mean, some people, you know, they do have abundance and they don't have as much karma, unfortunately, because the people with a lot of karma, and you know who you are, you've struggled. It's been a big struggle. It's been a long haul. And you're ready for things to change. But it's a timing thing. It's a timing thing. And my suggestion to you is to kind of get to a place where you can feel at peace with yourself and try to find little things to give to others and do for others. And that will help move your karma along. It'll help unstick you. You won't be so stuck, okay, in the lack. You know, you won't be as stuck. It'll change the energy for you. So, you know, a lot of people talk about negative thinking also. It being in a space, in a headspace where they're thinking negative thoughts and that stuff does block you. But I think the big ones are planetary influences, karma, and managing your money wisely, and actions. You know, you need to take those actions to make. You can't, like the smokers, you know, the smokers in the world always say they're going to quit. They're going to quit. They're going to quit, right? But a lot of times, they're lifelong smokers. Or they're smoked for 20 or 30 years. They say they're going to quit, but they don't. The person that's in that abusive relationship says she's going to leave, but she doesn't. Why? Because they have resigned themselves to staying in that. And a lot of people are fixed. You know, there's fixed signs, you know, so Aquarius, Leo, I think Taurus is also fixed. I don't think Capricorn's not fixed. I'm forgetting another one. I could be a Virgo. I don't remember, but one way or the other, it's, you know, there's fixed signs in people, you know, they just don't take the action to do it. They don't make up their mind to take the action to do it, to make the positive changes. So that's something that I would encourage you as far as your finances. Make positive action steps, an action plan. You know, if you do feel like you're struggling from karma, and you know who you are because it's been a long haul and it's gone on for some time. You maybe haven't been in a financial hole for 10 years, 15 years, more, you know. I'm just learning about this palmistry, you know, the study of palm reading. And I don't know if you could see it, but there's a line, okay, called the fate line, okay. It goes right up the middle, basically, of your palm. And I have one of these fate lines. So I totally get fate and karma, and it kind of goes hand in hand. And for people who may have a fate line, or just may be dealing with a lot of fate issues, those people are going to feel a little bit more stuck, and things are going to be a little bit more tumultuous, you know. But I hope I've given you some things to think about. I really hope that I've helped some. I will say that if you can get past this, if you can get past the envy and do things to basically unstick yourself and not be in that sort of, what am I going to do space, and manage your money better, you won't, if you manage your money better, you won't be in this space. And if you do those things, you won't be in this space. And if you're not in this space, then money was going to come to you. And you won't have to worry so much about losing it. And that's really the whole point. You don't want to be continuously worried that you're going to lose it. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for all of your comments and sweet remarks and just being so great. I couldn't ask for better followers. I had no idea that, I was going to have so many people follow me. So have a wonderful night. My light is fading, but we'll talk again soon. All right? Lots of love. Take care. Bye-bye.